Hey, young people. Well, this is an interesting case. It hasn't gone to the grand jury yet. So I'm a little, I guess, on the fence. I'm going to put this in earning the hate because government needs to stop this shit. And they're just shooting people unreasonably. Now, the media is playing it out because this guy is either black or Mexican. His last name is Ramos, but they're saying he's black and Mexican. So I don't know what he is. And you know what? Doesn't freaking matter. This is about government abuse. It's not about color. But let's take a look at what happened, and then I'll give you some more info. Okay, there's some unedited footage on this, and I watched the whole footage. This newscast kind of played basically what you need to see. But there is unedited, and it takes a little bit longer. The guy is obviously not complying, and he's working his way back to the car.
Introduction. One of the videos begins with an edited version of the 911 call that reported a man with a gun was doing drugs in a black and gold Prius.
Okay, so when they got the call, they seen him with a gun, and he had a gun. Now, the big thing is a 911 call evidence. I've got another tape of the 911 call. I'll play it at the end here, but let's finish this one.
As officers arrive at the scene, body camera footage shows them preparing to approach Mike Ramos.
Okay, this footage right here, to me, if a woman is being held by a gun, I've filmed, that's why this guy's going to say he's shot. I thought he was holding her hostage. I thought it was a kidnapping. If he got away, he was a threat to the public or to the woman in the car. I was surprised the woman didn't get out of the car for as long as they were trying to get him out of the car, because they talked to him a long time. But this, to me, doesn't look like there was an exigency. Doesn't look like they thought it was an emergency. Doesn't look like they're responding to something where somebody's in danger. They're meeting and staging around the corner and discussing how we're going to approach the car. So how are they going to say later that we thought the guy was dangerous? We thought he was going to hurt somebody, but we took time to meet and discuss, and nobody looks like they're in any type of, there's no sense of urgency here. So where's the emergency? Well, that's just one of the problems with this.
In a car. Body cam video shows Ramos getting out of his car, putting his hands up and turning around.
Turn around. Slowly turn around in a circle. Slowly turn around in a circle.
Now today, police also released that 911 call from this case, and we now know some of what that caller said.
Refresh shit. I hate this damn Google won't let me stop the refresh. So I have another tab, it pops in. So he comes to the front of the car, he does his circle, he pulls his shirt up, and then he starts walking to the door. This is a clue. As soon as he pulled his shirt up, they probably should have charged his ass. But cops don't want to go hands-on anymore. They'd rather stand back with their guns and shoot you. I mean, the dude's in front of the car, you just saw he didn't have a gun, bomb rush his ass and jump on him. I mean, I can't tell you the number of guys that I've jumped on in my career that, was a no person. And I took them to the ground. I mean, it's just, nobody wants to go hands-on anymore. I don't get it. And so now you let this guy get back to his car. Then when he gets in the car, then you shoot him with a bing bag that hurts. So obviously he's going to take cover in the car, and then he's going to run. Now, look, this guy's a dumbass. He doesn't follow directions. He's a no person. He sees 8, 10 cops with guns pointed at you, and he still does all these shenanigans as the car drives away. Now, look, from a government accountability, tough shit. Government shouldn't have shot him. I don't think this is a good shoot. But I think they're going to justify the shoot by saying the officer had a reasonable fear that we were called. He had a gun. There could have been a gun in the car. We had a witness that somebody saw him with a gun. And if we let him get back in the car and drive away, he could shoot that woman or he could shoot innocent people. Therefore, I was protecting the public. And I was protecting the servant who shot him, so I shot him and killed him. And it's going to be justified. And they'll pay out a large civil suit, and the pesky taxpayers will run around all happy that we have more government. And if we just gave government all the guns and nobody had guns, then we'd all be safe and you'd be freaking idiots. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop.
Multiple videos show different angles of the incident.
In the original video, this goes on for a good probably 5 minutes. And he just keeps arguing. What's going on? What's going on? I ain't got no gun. Why are you all here? Look, when you got 8 cops with guns pointed at you and you're running around doing this shit, the odds of you getting shot goes up like tenfold. But you know what? Hey, it's a ghetto lottery. His mama gonna get a big check now because she's got an idiot out there who doesn't know how to freaking act in front of cops. I'm not saying the cops are right, but this is what happens when you're dealing with a tyrannical government and you act stupid. Either pull out a gun and shoot the cops and go out fighting, or run around and let them shoot you in the back while you're on the way, because that's pretty much what they're going to do. Okay, so that was the beanbag shot. You saw it come in from the side here. Obviously, it was very effective. You can tell how it totally incapacitated the guy. Here's the beanbag shot, and he jumps in the car. Ouch.
After one
wow, we should get more beanbag guns. Maybe if we had bigger beanbag, maybe if we had beanbag cannons, maybe if we could mount beanbag cannons on top of patrol cars and they could just like shoot the hood of a car and it'll rip the engine out. Yeah, that's what we need. It only costs about $14 trillion and then, another trillion or so in training, because everybody needs more training, right?
Officer fires a less lethal beanbag shot. Ramos gets in his car.
Turn off the car, Michael! Don't do it! Get out of the car! Michael, get out! Hey, do not leave! Stay on the ground!
As he drives away from police and towards the dead end of the parking lot.
So, as he drives away to a dead end from police, so they can't say, I was afraid he's going to run me over. See, one of the cops wasn't thinking fast enough, should have ran in front of the car, and then they could have said, hey, I shot him because he's trying to run me over. But these cops didn't do that. This is Austin, by the way. Austin, Texas. Great liberal shithole with a lot of police, a lot of government, a lot of taxes, a lot of left-wing policies. Yeah, making Texas great. Oh, jeez.
Officer Christopher Taylor fires lethal rounds at Ramos. He was later taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Lawyers representing Taylor say they're unhappy that the body camera footage was released.
We think that it could be potentially prejudicial.
So the cops who are representing the police, the government, are making a case that the body cam should not have been released. And they're trying to say by releasing it, he's tampering with evidence and he's tampering with the jury. And he's trying to, look, government, it ain't going to be long before government restricts all body cams. Government's figuring out that the more the pesky citizens see what cops and government is doing, the more they're waking up, which is why gun sales have tripled or doubled in this country. And I can't believe it hasn't gone up more. And anybody that's waited this long to have guns and ammo is an idiot anyway. But if you're still waiting for a reason, it won't be long before it will be against the law to videotape police, because they don't want any other information that contradicts their narrative. And they will not be releasing body cams to protect you because it's scary, because somebody saw it, because it's the family rights, because they have to protect privacy, or like these two lawyers, because they have to jury. Remember, this is the prosecutors. These are the lawyers for Taylor saying the body cam should not have been released. And then they say the judge may not let it in as evidence. Of course he's going to let it in as evidence. It's freaking government body cam. It's coming in as evidence. There's no... I don't know of any case that a police body cam has been deemed not evidence and not let in. If somebody knows a case, please cite it in the comments.
To be unfair, this is not something that needs to be tried in the media. This is something that needs to be handled by the judicial system.
Oh, of course, because you guys really want justice, right? You're representing justice and the cop that shot a guy who wasn't armed, that didn't see a gun over a phone call because he drove away. And you're saying this isn't good for your client. So therefore, no video footage should ever be released. Yeah, perfect.
Under the proper channels.
The government has released evidence in a very high-profile case before a judge has even had the opportunity to consider whether that evidence is even going to be admissible in a trial.
This lawyer's so full of shit. Please tell me how many times police body cam has not been allowed in trial. I mean, once government figures out they can do that, we'll never get body cam in there if it hurts their case. It'll only come in if it helps convict you. And if it hurts the government, it won't come in.
That's the definition of tampering with the jury.
On your
But the attorney representing Ramos's mother says the footage makes it clear that Ramos posed no threat to police.
Well, of course his mother said he posed no threat. Good grief. Guy wouldn't comply, didn't have the freaking common sense of a gnat running around with guns pointed at him, driving away thinking, yeah, this is a good move. Hey, you know what? I've got 9 cops pointing a gun at me. What's a good move? Well, I think a good safe move would be to jump in the car and drive away. Okay.
Became increasingly agitated. Instead of calming the situation down, they escalated the situation.
Of course the cops escalate. It's always the cops' fault. But government needs to be held accountable.
And I think that they just completely mishandled it. And then...
Wow, look at all that protection and serving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 police cars. Good old Austin. Lots of government. Everybody should feel safe. Look how protected you are when government comes to save the day. Wow.
Taylor opened fire without any cause whatsoever.
Nikki Griswold, Spectrum News.
Okay, so let's look at this other footage so here's the call that the government released, but they edited it out. So we don't know what the real full call is. This is what the government tells us the call is.
He has a gun. He has a gun to this lady.
Is he pointing it at her?
He's holding it up.
He's holding it up, or is he pointing it at her?
He was pointing it at her, but he got, ma'am, I don't know what's going on, but I need y'all to come quick.
So they're thinking the person that called this in is lying, and the only way to get the police to come is if you say there's a gun, because otherwise the police don't come. And I mean, that's pretty much in every city that I've probably worked. That's a big city. Unless you say a gun's involved, the cops put you as low priority and you may get somebody 2 hours later. And guess what that does? Next year when they're going for a budget, we need more police. Look at our response times. They're really slow. And the pesky, stupid citizens go, yeah, response times are slow. Okay, we'll approve this new tax to help you guys get more officers so our response time will go up. Yeah, that's because you're an idiot. They want to slow down response times. There's no incentive for them. It's like the post office saying, well, if you want quicker service, post office, just give us more money. You go in any post office, they got 5 to 7 different stations, and they always have one person working, and normally that person ain't even at her station. She's in the back running around doing some other bullshit, and you got to wait for her anyway. So, I mean, government has no incentive to ever give good service, because then that means they can't get more money and more people.
Those words from a 911 caller on April 24th sent police to a Southeast Austin apartment complex, ultimately leading to Mike Ramos' death.
See your hands! Right now! Hands out!
According to this custodial death report, officers said because of that caller, they had reason to believe Ramos had a gun in his car.
When you get a report there's a gun involved, you have to assume that the information that's being given to 911 is accurate.
Oh! Really? This is a retired police officer. See all his little badges and all his little trinkets and ID cards? See, you have to assume. Do you hear what he just said? When you get a 911 call, you have to assume it's accurate. So if I call and say the police are being tyrannical and they're shooting people, then cops should be able just to shoot them without ever seeing a gun, right? No matter what I tell 911, cops have to assume that it's truthful. This guy's a freaking idiot. You don't ever assume it's freaking true. I mean, look, you want to approach with officer safety, you get information, but you don't ever act on what somebody says on a 911 call. It may get you there so you can evaluate, you can collect more information, you gather more information on your approach, how people are acting when you talk to them, when you contact them. Maybe you sneak in quietly and you listen like at a domestic. But this idiot's saying just because somebody says 911, you gotta believe it? Are you kidding me? I'd be calling in every freaking off-duty cop saying, hey, that guy's got a bomb and he's going to blow up the street. Go get him. And the cops would show up and be shooting all the off-duty cops. How would that work? How long do you think they would keep saying, you got to believe when somebody calls 911? Of course not. What a freaking idiot.
And you have to respond accordingly.
Dennis Ferris is a retired Austin police officer, and he says people sometimes exaggerate or lie to get officers to respond faster.
So in one breath, he says we have to believe what they say, and then the next breath he says we know people exaggerate. Really? Well, that's consistent. Shit, this guy ought to be a freaking expert. He ought to go on AF's channel and teach AF's tactics.
This case, police did not end up finding a gun on Ramos or in his car.
So if you give bad information, you not only put the person that you're calling about, you might put their life in danger. You're also putting the officer's life in danger, and you might be putting bystanders in danger.
No, the only way that officers and people are in danger is when government shows up with guns and acts irresponsibly. That's what puts people in danger. Freaking, oh man.
And you can also get in trouble. Former Travis County prosecutor and now criminal defense attorney Rick Flores says intentionally lying to a 911 dispatcher could get you about 6 months in jail and a fine up to $2,000.
Ooh. You mean for 6 months in jail or $2,000, and they would never send you to jail for this. I can just put out hits on people. I can call in everybody I don't like, call 911 to lie, pay my $2,000 fine, and have the police go kill somebody I don't want around. That's a great system. Wow. We should patent that. Government should make that the strong point of their system. Perfect.
And in a case like this, to get somebody to act quicker, I would say that arguably that is something that could be seen as an intent to deceive.
For the caller to face charges, either Ramos's family or Austin police will have to take it up with the Travis County Attorney's Office.
I think there's an argument to be made that if this 911 caller did not specifically make these statements that were not true, that the police officers wouldn't have shown up, wouldn't have reacted the way that they did.
In Austin, Patrick.
Get ready, because they're going to start making, if you call 911, you're responsible for what happens next. Guess what that'll do? That'll stop you pesky citizens from calling 911. That's what we want. We want to be out there getting paid and not have to listen to you pesky citizens. We don't want to have to respond to help you pesky citizens. We just want to tell you that we're heroes. We have guns. We're here to protect you. Don't call us or we'll convict you of crime. If you call us, we're going to shoot you or a family member. So stop calling us and just keep paying us. Pay your damn taxes so we can get raises, benefits, etc. Man, what a great country. I feel safe already. Well, in that there, earning the hate.